Where do we start? Of course I start with one that's difficult. Got something that's called a plinth. I just looked it up. I am not doing it anymore. You're not gonna see any of it. Just gonna paint over it. Okay, so it could be better. Good morning, welcome to Vlogmas day 18. I am about 15 minutes ahead from where I left you in the last vlog, because as I said, I am off to a theme park, which is super exciting. I have actually been invited by the people that I worked for right before I quit last month. They have like an end of year Christmas outing kind of thing, and they invited me to come, which is super nice of them. And I'm very excited because they are going to my all-time favorite theme park. It is called the Efteling. If you're ever in the Netherlands, you should definitely check it out. It is like centered around all kinds of fairy tales, which I already love. I love fairy tales, but they also have some really cool rides and roller coasters that I love. So I am very excited to go there. It's really a lot of fun to catch up with my very recently ex-colleagues. Now, obviously, because I'll be out with all of these people, I won't be filming all day, but I will definitely try and get some cool footage to get like an idea of the park that I went to, just to kind of take you along on my day. And then tomorrow, when I'm back, we're gonna do some work on the hallway upstairs. So, exciting stuff. Let's go.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you. You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running, there is no way trying. You better loosen your belts. Drinking hot wine by the fire, don't care of anything else. It's Christmas, and some kind of love, my friend. I pray it will never end. Do you like to be here too? It's Christmas, outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. I'll spend all this Christmas with you.
Yeah, guys, it's freezing. Good morning again. I have returned, obviously, last night, actually, but that was pretty late because it took me 2 hours to get home, but it was super fun. I really enjoyed it. But today I actually really want to get started on some actual DIY stuff because it's been a while and there is so much left to do. But I'm just trying to figure out what the best way is to get started here because it's a very dark space. So it's really kind of hard to film. I am now standing right in front of a window. So that, you know, this shot is pretty decent, but so I'm just trying to figure out what the best way is to like put my camera and because again, just like with the dining room, I will not only be filming these vlogs, I will also be filming footage for the actual DIY video, which is going to be like a bigger video focused completely on this one makeover, the hallway makeover. Also, where do we start? Because I was going to start on the far end, like the better wall, the beautiful wall, but that is the one that we're gonna paint with the little stencil thing. So it makes no sense to put the trim around the doors there because that will make it a lot harder to do the stenciling. So I should actually start on any other wall. And I could just go from left to right. Get this one first, this is our bedroom door, and then just move that way. I think that's a good plan. So I'm gonna have to take off this original trim. This is a very simple piece of wood that's like it's the same for all the doors, so I just have to take this off so that I can put the new one, the pretty trim, on top of this. I don't know what we're gonna do with this side. I don't think the trim is gonna fit right here. Do I just do it on this side and then the top and then just ignore this one? Of course I start with one that's difficult. Let's get some things. See how dark it is on this side? My camera can't even film properly, that's how dark it is. So I was just right there, like around the corner. There is one window there, and then here there's 2 windows, and that's all. That's all the light we have. I think I'll just have to stay here on this side, close to the window. I'm also gonna go and get my softbox, the big light that will bring in some light as well. Yeah, let me get my, oh, and my saw. Let me go and get my supplies. Okay, so we have 3 parts. We have the door trim, the baseboards, and then we've got something that's called a plinth. I just looked it up because I didn't know the word for it in English, but this is the plinth. Now this is gonna go at the very bottom. This is gonna be on the ground up against the door frame, and then the door trim is gonna go on top of that around the door, and the baseboard is gonna go to the side of it. I need to decide how high I want these to be. I think I'm just gonna look that up as well, if there is like a standard or what I think looks best. Okay, so it's 1 to 2 centimeters higher than your baseboard. Do I like 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters better? So here is what I mean. Can you see that? So here you can see, I think it's a good 2 centimeters higher, but they have a higher baseboard as well. I think I'm just gonna eyeball it, just kind of see what it looks like. I'm just gonna cut one that is 2 centimeters higher than the baseboard, and if I don't like it, I will take a centimeter off. And then whichever size we decide to use here, we're gonna use throughout the entire house. So, no pressure. Oh, cutting here is gonna be very messy. I should probably get my shop vac. Darn it, Magwina Benea. It is half my size, you guys. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Now let's hope we have enough duct tape to tape the shop vac to the saw. Because I don't actually have any kind of adapter for this. So I basically just put it in and then tape it together and hope that it stays in place for a bit. Oh, it's not so bad. Right, so we're gonna put this one right to the edge of the door frame, like so. And then the trim that will come on top will actually be a little bit away from the edge. $186.5. Now let me show you the least efficient way of opening this thing. It's gonna take forever. Now I could go downstairs and get a knife, but I think in the past 15 minutes, I have walked up and down those stairs about 15 times. I am not doing it anymore. I refuse. There. What did I say? 186.5. 186.5. Put something in between. Okay, so I'm running into a little bit of a challenge. This plaster obviously is coming out a little bit from the door frame, so it's a little bit thicker, which causes the door frame to sit like this instead of just flush and straight up against the wall. Now that would not be such a big deal. It's subtle enough that you can't see it, but it's going to affect the angle of the one in the top. So it's going to affect how well these two will come together at the top. Now it's really hard to test up here because this one is a little bit too long because I'm gonna have to take off a little bit on the right side. I don't really want to measure what I have to take off of this one without this one being like attached to the door frame. So what I'm going to do before I'm actually going to go to the hardware store and get a whole lot of wood to fill up these gaps, because that would be one of the options, is to just put shims behind this so that it's all straight. But before I do that, I'm just going to attach this the way that it sits now. So it's going to be a little bit turned, and see if it's really that big a deal. Because if you can't see it, then I'm definitely not going to get more wood to fill up that gap behind it. It's just not necessary. So I'm gonna attach these pieces just with 2 nails or something, just so that I can see what it looks like. And then we'll decide. I'm counting on you today. Do not fail me. Okay, that looks really good. The gap that it creates on this side, I can fill up with caulk. That is not a big deal. So that's okay. Now we're just gonna have to see what the angle does on the top. This needs to come off. Was that an accurate way of measuring? It needs a little more, just a little bit. I can't see it. I need something to stand on. This one is also too long. I think I can make it so that you can't see it though. But this one definitely has to be a little bit shorter, so this is definitely gonna be the trickiest one of all of them. There's one more that is exactly like this, which is the last door that we have to do. But I think if I can figure this one out, then that one is gonna be quite easy. Let me fiddle around some more. Okay, now the hard one. Okay, I'm gonna go and have some lunch, and then after that, we're gonna do this bit here. I'm not procrastinating at all.
The snow is falling down. I've been longing for this Christmas, when everyone's around to share this holiday. Yes, it's a time of happiness, a time of joy, but now this year is twice as special, 'cause I'm hoping for us to fall in love in this winter wonderland.
Okay, we're back. That was a good grilled cheese. I am going to continue working on this little thing here. I would be very happy if I could finish this hallway part today. So that would include this part, but also the baseboards along the floor, which doesn't sound like a lot of work. So I think I should be able to do it, but it's all depending on that. If I can do that with my jigsaw, then all is good. To be honest, I'm not sure yet how we're gonna do it. So let's first measure what I need. So I basically have to take off the right side of that piece of trim, like the thicker part of the trim. So I marked on the back side the part that I have to cut off so that I could clamp it to this table upside down. And then hopefully with my jigsaw, I can cut off the piece that needs to go. And I know that it's not going to be perfectly straight, but hopefully in the end, I can hide that with a little bit of caulk. Okay, so it could be better. There's a really big gap on the side, but that is because the wall isn't straight. So I actually measured at the bottom and at the top, and I made that line because that was already quite a difference. It was 0.5 centimeter difference. But I am noticing now that the wall is actually kind of going like this. So there's no way I can account for that. That is just too much. So what I will do is simply fill up this hole with caulk and hope that that will kind of solve itself, but we'll see. Pretty good. Oh boy. Wow. Okay, that was a little bit tricky. The wall that I was putting the baseboard on, it actually curved like this, and it was on such a small piece that that little piece of baseboard was just gonna pull away from the wall. Additionally, we could not find any studs to nail it into, so it wouldn't stick. So we actually tried looking for studs using a stud finder. We tried just drilling into the wall, finding a piece of wood. We couldn't find anything. The only piece of wood that we could find was all the way down at the bottom near the floor. But because the plaster is coming away from the wall a little bit, that would have meant that the baseboard was gonna tilt if I was going to attach it at the bottom. So eventually I actually made a couple of shimmies that I put behind that piece of baseboard so that I could actually screw, not even nail, screw it into that little piece of wood at the bottom. So I hope that makes sense. But right now I have lost all daylight. It is way too dark upstairs to film. Also, my battery's dead. I need to charge. So I'm actually going to prepare my chicken because I was gonna make a beautiful chicken roast. So I'm gonna do that. That's gonna have to go into the oven for a long time anyway. And then after that, I'm gonna go upstairs. I will take my bright light and I will caulk all of the edges and make it all pretty. Yes, that's a good plan. Let's see if we can make some light. Okay, I'm back. The only thing that I still need to do is that one baseboard along this wall over here. And then this area would be done. So we can finish it all off with caulk then, so that all of the edges and all of the nail holes are nicely hidden. And then we can call it done. 264. Whoops, hole in the wall. Let's see if we can figure out if there is any kind of wood in this wall. Definitely something here. And then should there also be something on 60? Same issue, we had to screw that one as well, but that's all right. I think it worked out. I'm simply gonna fill up all of these holes where the screws are. You're not gonna see any of it. I'm just gonna paint over it. I'm just gonna clean everything up and then we'll do the caulk.
Feeling alone, kinda misty, waiting now for you to come. It's cold again, but I know we'll be warm, sitting by the fire and dream. Tell me again with a whisper, little things that I wanna hear. And the stars.
I think that we made some really fun progress today. This was a fun little DIY project. It's definitely going to be a lot more work to do the entire hallway, but I think that this door and the last door are going to be the most complicated. The rest is pretty straightforward. It's just normal doors, really. I am not going to paint anything yet. I will actually save that for later. I think I'm just going to paint everything at the same time. That is the most efficient thing to do. Definitely still need to make a decision on what to do with that wall and the stencil and the pretty Victorian design that we're gonna do there. But for now, I'm going to call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this video and I very much hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.